Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around for now. Say hi, Mark.
Hey everybody!
Smokey, Steve, and Mark, welcome or welcome back, and happy Sunday. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. That's my monster truck announcer voice, I guess. So, hope y'all are doing well. It was beautiful weather here today. Absolutely. We had like snow the other day, sleet, all that kind of stuff. And hasn't been bad. Today it was sunny. It was almost 60. And almost everyone I know tomorrow is taking a 6-hour drive to go see a solar eclipse. So work's going to be a little empty, I think. I know my director and a couple other people went because they were just dying to see it. It's like a once in a lifetime thing if you're not willing to travel too far. So that's on my end. Family stop by, catch you later. No problem, Mr. McPhoebes. Hey to the missus. We'll catch up with you later. Susie Q, hello. How are you? It was a really quick weekend. I'm going to give you one tiny story about me, and then we're going to talk about her for a while. This morning I had this raging panic attack. Okay, I woke up. My alarm wasn't set, but I looked over, and it was the time I usually get up. And I looked, and I freaked out. I thought it was Monday. So I booked it to the bathroom, then down the hall, then almost woke Mark up because I wasn't sure what day it was. I had all the anxiety of a Monday morning, and I was like, how did I miss the whole day? What happened? So that was my adventure for today. It was only within my mind did we go on an adventure today. Otherwise, it's been a chill weekend. Like I said, everyone I know in Pennsylvania is driving west to go see the eclipse. So Tuxedo, Melissa, Denise, Roxy, hello, hello. So we are going to catch up today with our fair lady Chantal, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty. Everyday who? Miriam when? I don't know any everyday Miriam, do you? Mm-mm-mm. So she's back on Canadian soil. As if we, catching up from last week, she's back on Canadian soil. She was coming off a 7-day ban that she had admitted to, and that she utilized that time to travel in a very stealth sort of way. She's kind of looks like she's living in her car right now. 7 days is still not a ton of time for someone like Chantal to plan, prepare, and get where you're going easily. So, but she did make it back. She took Lufthansa and Air Canada, I think, and she complained about the German airline. She said the seats were too small and somebody spilled something on her. So she is back. Salah who? Salah what? They'll stay married in the eyes of Allah, probably. And she's just going to let that go wherever it goes. Miss Hello from Germany. Tag, wie geht's? You're in the totality zone. I'm jealous, because we're not. I could be. Erie is only so far. Anyway, so going into this week with our fair lady, she's back. Moving to Canada originally a little more permanently than just a stay. Now, before we even go further, we're at minute 3.5. First rule of Girl World, Chantal lies. She lies. We've already done this whole let's plan her next 3 months in Canada thing. And then she rolls over, farts one direction, and decides to run another. And what she does. So she's back. Questions about how much is she going to be involved in the Muslim culture and her faith that was so important to her there. She didn't show us that it was important, but apparently off camera she was like a finger of God, Allah. So she's back. Now that she's back, there's concern that she's filming in her car, live and streaming, almost exclusively, and she's not, hey Kalari, not in it for, well, the thinking is that she can't stream where she is if she's staying with family, and she's done her family a great disservice by being on YouTube. She doesn't know the kind of sacrifices other people have to make for her to have like an easier life. But about there. So if she's staying with family, that's the reason she's in the car, and that's the reason she's probably streaming. Drive around, park, eat. Happy Ramadan. I mean, if you were going to half-ass it with your Muslim husband, how long is it going to stick if she's there, if she's here? She already separated herself by saying, I don't want to say this. I'm a Western Muslim. So the standard is different. It's like Muslim light. It's like Coke Zero. it doesn't, the expectations should be low for her. They shouldn't be high. But when you dress yourself in devout garb and have less than, you know, relapsed Muslim behaviors, I don't know. One wonders why people stare. It's dead noon in Ramadan and you're having a ham sandwich in the sunshine. That's why they're staring. Because other people have more awareness of your culture traditions than you do. So, yes, lover. The idea that it's an aesthetic, you know, that she's only keeping the hijab for bad hair days. And she's keeping this all on the side because when she meets the next Muslim guy, she's going to have the outfit already. She knows half the words already, so she can land the next one. She started wearing the hijab before she even started talking about a person she was going to be tight with. I think she's probably texted with a guy for about 6 hours. He was Muslim. She put on a hijab to try to make it seem like she was authentically interested in anything related to it. And typical Chantal shows you the most modest version of herself one place, and you see the most unmodest version of herself kind of others. Has anything really changed with her since she went from Kuwait to Canada? She's still kind of just sitting around. Fasting. She has to practice how she practices. It's between her and Allah. Okay. This is not shouldn't be a whole section. I hate her new glasses. I hate them. I don't dislike Chantal in glasses, and I know she needs them more than she lets on. She should be wearing probably the glasses all the time. They're so bad. Like, I bought a couple cheap readers off Temu, and they looked about like that. But I mean, these glasses were 79 cents that I got. So, I don't know. They're nice, but it seems like I was thinking maybe she probably bought them in the airport because she had tired eyes from watching 9 hours of television on the plane, and then bought herself a pair. But it couldn't be that. It's Salah's parting gift. Here, babe, I'm going to give you vision, babe. God bless Salah. At least maybe he can now get back to something like a normal life. So, as far as pets go, because there's been discussion by her, she's going to get Sam back. Her other cat, BBJ, went one way, Sam went the other. And the connection was easier to get back to Sam. It was like family member, friend of a family member, just a family member. Someone in her relative circle had it. So she could certainly come back and say, it's my emotional comfort animal, and I think I've been doing well without it. It's spite. It's pure spite. She can't enjoy the freedom she wants by being tied down by anything, including pets. So she had them here and gave them away, but then went right to Kuwait and got another one. And then disappeared for a few months then. And now has disappeared for good. So who do we get the cats for? Is it for me to feel snugly and so they can make me feel better? Or is it to take the responsibility of actually looking after something? You know, I'm a new pet owner. These are my first 2 cats ever. Not as a kid, no dogs, nothing. And I get like, if they start howling like cats do, you know, I'm like overprotective, overreactive. So, yes, Leisha, she wanted to kind of show people up, like, see, you can't stop me from having a cat. You can't take away the cat that I want, blah, 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 whatever. She did claim that she got an apartment, too, that she paid the deposit. The lease, like, she's into a new place. So if she's just moving to a new place, then she's probably staying at her parents'. One might question, why isn't she in a hotel? Her husband has his own business. Her husband makes a financial amount of, he could fly her back and forth, I don't know how many times. Business, not in coach. Nice guy. Take his 400-pound wife and have her fly 13, 17 hours in coach. That sounds like love, doesn't it? Bad. So, and PayPal. She's put her PayPal up. She made an announcement on her community post that she was putting it up because people were begging her to do it. So she put it up, and then it was perceived as panhandling because people can kind of read from Chantal's numbers. None of our numbers are like truly secret, that she wasn't doing well. She lost at least a week worth of videos, and there's the week worth of content, not to count super chats or super thanks that she might have got during that time. And so she has her send me money one out, which I'll have something to say on because we're not even 10 minutes in. We have our Cash App in the description. People do it. I don't know if we made a whole community post about it. And I wasn't already hawking hellos on Hameo and deciding, you know what? I'm not getting enough for my little effort. I need more money for even less effort. Let me just link you right. Here's the routing number. Here's the account number. Send the money. Maybe you'll get a postcard. Maybe you'll get a postcard. Maybe you'll get this or that. If she had fallen through on those things, I don't think people would think. But other times that she's requested money, it was usually for a service, like a ham, like, talk to you, or a gift she was going to bring, her postcards or coffee or whatever, and nothing came through. She's just not good money. She falls through. Never commit a crime with Chantal. She'll dime you out so fast. So, yeah, her panhandling. And I think that was it. So, let me vape for 1 second, and then we'll rock and roll. 198 folks. It's nice to see you all. Welcome. Other YouTubers haven't abandoned a household full of goods to chase a man and now looking to replace them. She left everything where it was and ran. Like it was eat, pray, love, except broke. And she just took off, left in the care of her family. Because it's the least they can do for her, right? To hold on to her car. To help Pete's probably clean up the mess of his apartment. I suspect they feel responsible for her messes, even though they didn't cause them. Because there's probably like a long line of Chantal-esque guilt trips about how she wouldn't have turned out like this if she wasn't her mother's daughter. So her mother's her savior, but then when mom's critical, mom hates her. Mom's just, it's kind of like someone described the weather. When she was in Kuwait, she didn't go out because it was too hot. And now she's in Canada and she won't go out because it's too cold. I'd rather give Steve and Mark than the lady who refers to me as no teeth. I'd burn it before Chantal. Kalari, you know what? Decent people can spot other decent people. And decent people can often spot a rat, too. So, and you know what? She got her little strike. Good. She had it coming. What was interesting to me, though, during the strike, her pressure to speak is terrible. She has the right to remain silent. She just doesn't have the ability. So she doesn't go through with her, I don't want to say this. Well, she ran her mouth and she got in trouble for it. And she thinks it's unfair because other people run their mouth. And since other people run their mouth, I can run my mouth. And when they can do this, I can do this. Has this won her any friends or influence? Does anyone say, you know what, Chantal really rose above it? I'm really proud of her. Chantal shouldn't be talking about other people's appearances, only because she wouldn't want anyone else talking about anybody else's appearances. But that's why she freaks out when she talks about, like, yaba and garlic bread. She can't see them. Chantal is queen of the third grade insult, and so if there's no picture of you, she has nothing to pick on, because she couldn't possibly pick on the other stuff you're making sense. So, I don't know. Kalari, we're glad to have you here. You're more than welcome, obviously, absolutely. So, all right. So begin the begin. So she's back in Canada, right? And she's still wearing the hijab. And she's alleging that she's following her faith between her and Allah in some way. Then fine, I'm a Muslim and it's between me and Allah. Why not? If that's all it takes, this is like, I can declassify documents in my mind. Just like this. I mean, she's ridiculous. She's ridiculous. And does anyone doubt for a second that if she meets a guy who's not Muslim, that thing's coming right off, torched, and that she'll take it off for a while, maybe wear wigs, return to normal life, and then meet another guy, and then if she meets another guy, put it all back on, and try to gaslight us that she didn't blow it off completely. So, I don't know. No, I don't think. Weed is legal in Canada, and she's using it medicinally. This was the other point. She was in the car defending herself from 1,000 of her choices. And one of them was that, will you be using weed when you get back? Are you going to the dispensary? And she said, yeah, because it's legal here. Legal and moral are different, but not to Chantal. As long as you don't get arrested for it, it's not even unkind in her mind, I think. So, it's going to come around back to her. She said she got a new place. Because Chantal was Chantal, it'll be doxxed really quick because she won't be able to help herself. She did good with the blackout, staying off other media too. But, she's not gonna, I'm from Canada, most of us don't view weed as medicinal. I think there's nothing wrong if she's even thinking of it as recreational. But she's the one who made promises to X, Y, and Z person that she was not gonna do A, B, and C things. So, will she drink? It's Canadian culture to drink. That's because she has no sense of self. She's nobody. She is nobody. She's whoever she needs to be in the moment. So now that she needs to be back in Canada and be Foodie Beauty, she's got to be kind of a mess again. And so here we go into da, 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 da. But she called herself Canadian by blood. I don't get that. I had no idea that marijuana use was part of Canadian culture. It is because all her friends smoke. Well, she only has 3. But when you and everyone you know are scumbags, you kind of generalize from the part to the whole that the world is full of scumbags and that everyone has the same ill intentions that you do. Chantal is very commonly generalizing from the part to the whole. She'll do something not so nice, or that's a little gauche, or little whatever, and say, so what? Other people do that too, if not worse. She never puts herself on a higher pedestal. She just says, I'm the same piece of garbage everyone else is. Which is not really, I mean, after that many years of trying to defend herself, I don't know. No one's forcing anyone to go in and buy it. No one's forcing her to do it. It's so medicinal. She lived like a year and a half, except for trips home, without it. But, I don't. I think she missed being able to be messy. I think that's a point, Mia. I think she did miss it. She missed being able to just be herself and do it. The problem is, I think she thinks now, and we didn't do her a service, that if she comes back bald with her armpit boobs all over the place and screaming, she's thinking that's going to make 20 grand again a month. And if that's her motivation, if the money's the motivation, and Chantal is not transparent about her priorities, if the money is the thing, then all of a sudden we're going to have outrageous, clickbaity, all the kind of stuff meant to draw you in and get your money without providing you with anything at all. Here's 16 minutes of me holding my phone out the window, or me chewing in the dark. People will watch it. There's lovers that will watch it. But she seems appalled that, more people would be interested in cackling about that behavior than what? So, she knows messy gives her attention. Messy. That's a word. That's a word I like for her. Messy. Messy. So, she's been only filming in her car, for the most part. Now, she's streaming. Was she at the outhouse? In the dark, middle of nowhere. She didn't even have the dome light on, and then was streaming and eating. And that's life. That's her reality. That's the closest thing to happiness throughout her day. I feel sorry for her. That's it's awful to just grasp at straws to try to make yourself happy. Cassandra, thank you very much. Thank you for the super chat. Aww. The heart bursting out. That's very kind of you. Thank you. If she really gets a place in Canada, I'm sure she'll try to get Pete to move in with her. She needs to have someone else accountable. She needs someone to blame if it falls through. So for the apartment she's going to be living in, depending, the villa, she was paying probably a rather high rent. And I think the assumption of privacy is usually higher when you live somewhere more wealthy. But at the same time, she had neighbors complain. I mean, the place she was living, it was not a row of frat houses that she had moved into. But she was like a dirty-ass frat boy, just throwing food over here, throw clothes over here, shake the crust off my underwear. And then we go so far to the other direction. We go so far the other way that she's covered up to her nose, practically. And as much as she thought that was going to fix something, whether it's her heart, her mind, her channel, her love life, whatever she thought it was going to fix, it didn't work. And so now we're back with plan B. I'll give her credit. She drove it into the ground trying to make it work. But it's just not her path, I guess. She has a path of her own, even though she is a monster. Just like the rest of us. So she thinks she's entitled to a servant of sorts. Well, that's what she'll do. She'll have someone... Can you imagine being her CNA, the nursing aide? The technician that's going to have to flip her in the hospital? Because she doesn't think at all about the fact that she's going to be nothing but a burden at a certain point. But she doesn't put it all together. There's a girl I grew up with, okay? Very similar, very well-liked, popular. She was the big girl in town. Big, like Chantal's size. She's about that size. Well-liked, good worker, bartender. She was fantastic. She had to go in very recently to get something lanced, I think. And she was put under general anesthesia, and she didn't come back out easily. And she has a bunch of other complications now because her weight was a risk factor, risk happened. Something happened with it. And that was like this, just out of nowhere. We don't get to pick the moment, the hour. Well, some people do, but I don't know. She's mad that we have more fun speculating. This is true. We come up with much more interesting stories about what she's doing than she's actually doing. She's sitting in the dark eating fast food in a car because she can't. It's. Hey, look at No Justice, No Peace. What's up, Erica? What's up? So, living in the car, I don't know. The guess from a lot of people is that she was staying with family and they forbade her from streaming in their home because of the after effects that she had, you know, from there. So, she. Why is she in a hotel? I mean, Sala could spring for a hotel, couldn't he? Her husband, so that she wouldn't have to spend most of her day in the car. This is like an episode of Intervention. You can sleep here, but you can't stay at my house. It sounds like people setting boundaries to me, and it sounds like they're sticking, which doesn't work for Chantal. You know, her usefulness for the people who are catching her after she falls, her family, their usefulness to her will be exhausted. She just wants a soft landing when she falls, and she usually has family to do that with. And God bless her for having great family that care about her, but I mean, she's an adult now. I have a different relationship with my parents as an adult than I did as I was a kid. I don't think she does. Jamie, you're right. She's back in Kuwait. Remember, we did this before. She was coming back. I'm not doing anything. Absolutely, positively, never, ever, ever. These words mean nothing to her. Nothing. She believes it's okay to lie to protect her privacy. So anything she decides is private, she tells a justifiable, to her, lie about it. And she doesn't see what everybody else sees, which is you're just a lying sack of crap. You're like your motives aren't sincere. I think that's a big one people have with Chantal. They don't think her motives are sincere. Her motives to be converting to Islam, you know, whatever. So driving around eating during Ramadan. Now, I'm not personally Muslim, okay. I have a few distant friends who practice. So we're going to put my inexperience in context with that. And it's not even so much about Islam, but she put out first, she's not fasting. And the justification was, well, I wasn't really fasting there either. Well, we know you were half-assing it, but now she's going to like rightfully half-ass it for some reason. She's having some issues in the car that she's spending a lot of time in, navigating the interior. She got big. The car didn't shrink or grow in a year and a half. She did. So whether she can sit in it comfortably or not is up to her. That's one of those things like you find a prom dress and you realize how big you've gotten since then. Just saying. Not fasting, asking subs for more money. It's all, you know, and in the middle of the daytime. Like if you want to play loosey-goosey Muslim, but sit around noontime having all your food during Ramadan, it reflects so badly. Someone who doesn't particularly care for Muslims would look at her and go, see, that's why. Look, they're all like that. And yet she's 350 pounds. She was 400 pounds when she needed the clickbait of a 400-pound life, but Kias are known to shrink. It's in the Quran, okay? Kias are known to shrink, all right? So whatever, I don't care. What a waste. So, let's see. She's representing the Muslim faith when she dresses as a person who's a member of the Muslim faith. She can decide that God knows her heart, if and so and what not, and would be able to help with that. But the devout garment doesn't square with the non-devout behavior. And I think that's what is a lot of people. It's not that I care that you're a good adhering Muslim. It's just like, you say you're going to join a club, do nothing to be part of a member of it, but then say when you need it, that your participation in such puts you a little bit ahead of everybody else. Bastardizing a religion for attention is a little below everybody else. Most people don't do that. You can't make a community post that said, most people fake a religion to get a man. People do, but not most of us. Not most of us. Troll Place, I don't know if she's 450. I'd go 400. I think it's like once she lost all that weight with the Arc and Natter, the only reason she lost weight doing that is because there was no effort. It was no effort. And the thing that made you less hungry also gave you a pleasurable feeling. And so she dropped 70 pounds like that. Probably all the water came off. And then all the drugs. She was having a real like New Jack City moment when she first got together with Natter. You know, everyone. If I came in on my first date with Mark and he had a crack pipe, meth pipe, in the ashtray. First of all, I don't know if I'd even mention it. I'd probably find my way out first. But, you know, she's as Muslim as her cat. Very true, very true. Now, if I walk around dressed like a monk, cross, robes, very, very, very. And then I'm out during the middle of Lent having a turkey leg, and then go into the bar and order 3 shots of Jägermeister at Applebee's and think, why are people staring at me? Don't be an idiot. You know why they're staring and you like it. No attention is bad attention for Chantal. And she said as much herself. So that's not news. It's just reiterating it because she acts like she forgets that sometimes. The filter, she was very heavily filtered. And Chantal, I don't like the point. She looks different than she did before she left. We'll say that. And not just the clothes, but she looks different than when she left. The shape of her face is a little different. This has been covered up for so long. So, whatever. You can't judge people for staring at a spectacle, and she makes a spectacle of herself. So, has anything really changed? She presented herself as a person capable of discipline, self-control, so obviously that's still her. The meth pipe was their second date? Oh, excuse me. It was Moonlight and Roses till then. Thank you, Mia. Don't I have bad facts? I'd rather be wrong than spread a lie, so that's okay. The fasting that she was doing, I have to practice how I practice. Now, I don't know, maybe you have a faith, maybe you don't, maybe you worship a god, maybe you don't, maybe you worship yourself, like her, maybe you don't. But it doesn't square, because she makes such garbage kind of comments to people and about other people, and then tries to hide behind it to appear to strangers that she's, holier than thou. But once you really get to know her, ick. What I used to think when I was drinking was, if anybody really got to know me, they would hate me. And while I was drunk, that would be true. But in recovery, you find people that like you for who you are. No matter how weird you are, you'll find people that like you who you are. It's a big world out there. And the fact that she is so limited in her ability to go out and participate in the world, whether it's in romantic stuff, work, whatever. I mean, she's not going to do anything other than YouTube, Canada, or Kuwait. She's not going to get a job. She's going to find new ways to collect money. Hence, PayPal. So she was doing the snow. It was the only way she had she was visibly thinner, yeah, Michael. She was having actual, I remember the bees was the skin she had. Now, make no mistake, she was not Karen Carpenter. She was still over 300 pounds after losing 70. So Chantal's goals are going to have to be a little different than the rest of ours, I would guess. So, I used to be a fan of hers until I saw her behavior. She blames everyone. Yes, people don't like someone who can't be accountable. I will take an accountable fuck up over a smug person who's, oh, I never did anything wrong. Well, you can't. Technically, her whole life is technically. Technically, we were married. Technically, we weren't married. Technically, I was employed by them. Technically, I'm a Muslim. It's all for another means. Everything is for some other ill end, or some self-serving thing. So it doesn't bother me for the Muslim community, but when someone is a full blazing hypocrite and not only doesn't admit it, denies it, and wants money for her trouble, for what? For what service is she performing? What service is she performing that the rest of us would die without? Karen Carpenter had the most beautiful voice in music. She did. Second to Chantal, of course. Chantal would be the nicest. And she writes her own songs, too, so. She's boring, and she's stayed boring. I think a change could be a change if it was a change. There was the blackout, no one heard from her, she comes back, and she picked up not really where Muslim Chantal left the first time. She was much more excited when she left than she was when she came back. Yes, perfect pitch, Tally-ho, perfect. Natter and Dee Dee got no room for her. She only has so many connections, good or bad. There's Natter, there's Dee Dee, there's Pete's. There's her family. And unless she seems to be pretty self-reliant. She likes to throw in everyone's face that she has money. Get a hotel room. Why not? Maybe something bad will happen. I don't know. So she wasn't fasting because she had the doctor's note for God that she didn't have to fast. But then she did fast like a little bit. Not what everybody else did, but just a little bit she would fast. And then she seemed to spin it like because it was not for her to do at all, because she wasn't prescribed to do it, that her doing any bit of fasting should get like extra credit. No, no, it's a poor representation of herself. Of herself, and as long as she chooses to wear an abaya and a hijab, she's going to reflect poorly on a faith that she doesn't know anything about and doesn't care about. She just likes the Mediterranean D, and she's willing to chase all the way around there on Tinder to try to find someone who can take the place, I guess, of Salah. Salah was probably a good deal for her that she ruined. I mean, if I was in Salah's position, am I going to be too opposed to having someone move over here, pay my bills for me? I can get out of the place I'm living, get into somewhere nicer. I'll have a cool little income. I'm sure she promised him a channel. You know, I'm going to make you a millionaire. And their channel had like 10,000 of all of that. It's hard to square the fact that, I mean, a lot of people have multiple channels and the disparity between views is different. There's one that I was watching that was it 50,000 subs or so? But then the views were like 300 a video. Like, I don't know. Kalari, I'm so glad you were able to make it here. This is a safe-ish space. It's not a safe space like a yicky whoop whoop safe space, but we tend to keep it light over here, not be accusatory. I have a foul mouth. That doesn't always happen, though. Desperate wants to be seen as interesting and impressive. Yes, Ashley, I would say that that's right. And the problem is she fakes it. The time it takes to be impressive, or to be, she tries to cut shortcuts and get credit for stuff that she doesn't do. So, when there's that discrepancy, someone's buying subs. You notice how that whole pop of her getting them dropped dead, stopped completely, just after 1001. Just right after that. Just a coincidence. Typical Chantal. She got all the way to the end, and it was too long to wait for people to naturally like her, so she had to buy people who did, and swap people who did. And then caught an attitude with those people because I guess they weren't thankful enough for their ability to help her, or... Crazy. Crazy-ass woman. So... she isn't doing stuff. I think only Salah would care, probably, if she was doing all the Muslim things at home. She was never doing it off camera. She was never doing it when she was not being seen there. But, Coach Mummy, hello, hello. If she was truthfully and honestly vile, I doubt she'd get so much hate. Be honest about how trash you are. See, I think people can, like, where they can acknowledge where they're at. Like, if Chantal had some acceptance, which she does periodically, that she's a mess. Periodically, she'll say, oh, I'm a mess. But she doesn't take any accountability for changing that situation. So when she continues to complain about it and people say, well, why didn't you choose this? Why didn't you choose that? Well, I don't want to change. You guys are my community. She started blowing smoke quick when she got back because she needs people on her side. So she's in the car in the dark. You guys are my support group. You're not professionals. You don't know my life. Screw you. That is just as true as what she's saying now. She just uses it for her convenience then. So, lying I'm not a big fan of. I mean, people do. Steve, you and Milk Tea have a great... I love Milk Tea. She is just so darling, so nice, so well-spoken, but also no idiot, which I appreciate very much. And doesn't step outside her box. She won't talk about things she doesn't know about, which sometimes when you look through different reactor channels, it's like... It's hard to see where, like... I don't know, I take notes. I can't pull it out of my ass. I don't have the mind for it, really. I just don't. Yeah. She doesn't suffer fools gladly. That's a fantastic way to put it, Texas. Absolutely. Oh, she's so sweet and so nice and so kind. You could see that she'd be a teacher of some sort. And when there's nothing to say, she doesn't make a video. So Chantal had her long blackout for a week. There were channels that just didn't put anything up about her because there was nothing to say. And there was channels that were doing like retrospective type videos where they were looking back at maybe a year ago or 2 years ago just to kind of see what's going on. And so, good God. She corrects her lies politely. That's right. But Chantal has a very unique way. We'll use her weight as an example because she thinks it's all everyone sees. She thinks nobody can tell looking at her. that, I don't know. I don't know. She is a teacher, ESL. That's what my understanding is, that she taught English abroad. What I was saying, not stepping out of her wheelhouse. Like, she didn't I don't think she made a video every day that Chantal was gone. Some reactors were going back into her archives to pull up stuff to make videos about until she came back. And she reliably came back. This is her full-time job. The rest of us usually have something else to do. Most of us do. But I don't know. Out of her 100,000 people, I think if you took out the bots and you took out the dupes, there'd be, I don't know, 30,000 people there, maybe 40. And that plaque would be as worthless as it is now, with Everyday Miriam written on it. So, why did I made in my notes twice that the glasses were ugly. I guess I was bothered when I was looking at them. My thinking was that she probably bought them in the airport. And they were not from Sala. Because weird shit happens to her in airports. Lost her wedding ring, found it, lied about it. You know, she was just getting escorted all around like Queen Sheba. You know, here's her little luggage cart. They're going to drive her here and then put her in a wheelchair and then push her up the ramp. And she feels like Cleopatra with this. She sees help as service, like helping her, not doing what she needs done. Like, it's not in the same feel. I don't know. She had them in the apartment before the airport. Yuck. Oh, don't forget I'm bald, everybody. If you're new, welcome. We got a full house, about 400 people here. Thank you all for coming. You thought she wouldn't change the name back, Sweet Sea Monster. She's going to. She'll change it back. And the bottom line is that she wanted her plaque. But Chantal, even if only through spite, is occasionally goal-driven with that spite. But I don't know where she's going to take it from there. Like, now that she's reached her 100K, what's the next milestone? What's the next big thing? Let's see, the cast didn't do it for her, and the traveling and running away didn't do it, and the tons of Middle Eastern food didn't do it, and the marriage didn't do it, and the third cat didn't do it, and the hamster didn't do it. This is going to do it. She's incapable of being happy for any period of time. There's always something else she needs or wants, but I don't know which direction she's going to reach now that her career goal has been met. And 100,000 is a big deal, for real. It was bought in ill-gotten gains, Erica. That's what I would say. Just at the last minute. And it's like everything Chantal. Yeah, technically you got it, but I mean, you did it in a scummy way. That's kind of all of it. Jake, all is well here. So, ugly glasses. Now, as to pets, we were talking a little bit about, and I've only had 2, and she's had many, I'm sure. No one is owed or deserves a pet. None of us. No matter what our intentions are, none of us are owed to definitely have, a pet. She would bring them out in her life for her needs. Dynamite, welcome, thank you. Grab a spot in the back. And now with the talk of Sam coming back, it's out of spite. So these cats were never really, she didn't really love the cats. When she would talk about BBJ and Sam, she would say how much they loved her. And that was evidence to us. Thank you, Dino. I'm glad you like it. I'm having fun myself. So I don't think she was able to kind of put together that, like, it's like profoundly selfish from the outside to have animals, give them away to travel. When you travel, get another one, and then decide you're going to go back somewhere. She can be flighty with travel. I mean, it's practically her right. And if she had a clean passport, a little bit of savings, and some money going forward, she could carve out a pretty nice life, vlogging. But how much more could she have done in Kuwait if she wasn't stuck in the house all day? I mean, she says she's more of a homebody. So I'm like, so you fly 17 hours to sit in somebody else's apartment. Bed rot. We didn't get another one because my kid's tuition will always come first. She doesn't know what love is for people or pets. No, it's more about her. It's about her and what she needs and how the pets make her look. They're evidence, they're proof of love. They're proof of love to her. So at any time she could say, assholes, you love me, right, BBJ? And similar. Sam coming back will be different because I don't think Sam was as old as BBJ, if I remember. Correct me in the chat, please. I don't think Sam was as old. And And she doesn't really care about the animals anyway, because she only wanted BBJ back to spite French Fry Girl. She didn't care. She didn't care enough to look into it enough to find out that her nemesis was getting her cat. You know, Chantal, who's got fingers on everything and making moves behind the scenes. That was hysterical. She stole my cat. No one stole your cat. You gave it away. Gave it away. And it wasn't so important that you changed your plans, so it couldn't have been that big of a deal. And if you're going to say, oh, well, it's just a cat. Well, yeah, exactly. For you, it is just a cat, so don't worry about it. No one's expecting more from you, Chantal. We're quite accustomed to your level of respectability, dignity. I don't know. Wally humans who can't feed themselves or move without assistance. She's gonna switch off from manservants to nurses' aides. She's gonna need LPNs. She is gonna be, the most obnoxious one in the personal care home. She didn't like what they ordered on her tray. She's not on a reduced calorie diet. She already talked to the doctor. She'd be conning nursing students into bringing her food. Like all sorts of. I always put her in the big 600-pound life bed when I imagine her in the hospital. Like, so many other things could happen. Like, she's not going to be like in the hospital waiting to lose weight. Something very serious medically could come up before then. And it'll be before she's ready to lose weight. If you wait till you're ready, you're never going to do. This is I give very little advice about not using substances, but the only way not to do it is to just not do it. So. Her in care, nightmare. You do meet some people who are receiving help that are rather entitled, that they treat the people who are helping them stay alive as their servants. And a little cheekiness around that is okay. Like, I have a client, not my client specifically, she comes to our agency, and she makes it a point to come to our recovery center like every day, every single day. But she has a lot of problems of her own. But she also has support staff. So for this individual to get around, she has a case manager and then a service coordinator because she has a couple things going on at once. And she says, they work for me. They'll go when I'm ready. But Dino says, Visa run, I'm going 40-60. 60-40, she's staying. But remember, we did this, we did this before. It's not like it'll happen. Chantal used to be funny. Now she's too lazy to make good content. She's boring and people are tired of her BS. And now PayPal. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for the super chat. The PayPal. Well, let me get to that because that's a little more close to home with Mark and I. She claims she got the apartment. She put whatever money down on it. She says give her a month until she has something that looks like a life, I guess. She doesn't give a shit what Salva thinks now because he's no use to her. So unless he does have money that he's sending. But what's she going to do to entice money out of him from across the pond? What's she going to do? Send pictures? Send pictures of other women if you want him to look interested. Now, PayPal, Cash App. So in the interest of disclosure, our Cash App is right below. Okay? A lot of other people do it. So Chantal's not wrong when she says that other people have it in their sections or they have it written places. And the bit where she had said, this is where she went grand on it. The bit where she said, people have been asking me. How many people have been asking you? 2? Did 2 people say, hey? Or is it just mountains of them, and this is just to streamline it? I think she wants a mountain of PayPals to come in, because the money is like that. Plus, YouTube doesn't take their 30% if you get it on a financial thing like that outside of going through YouTube. So she wasn't going to get sandbagged. She's just seeing what'll stick to the wall, probably. She needs to be outrageous, and she can't decide on for what reason yet, now that she's back. So, born-again Christian arc? Amish arc? I don't know. Joining the military arc? Why not? Her life's a joke, so why not laugh at it? I don't know. They were telling her to do an Amazon list. Now, we had ours up, but we had ours up around the wedding because people said, we would like to buy you something, this, that. And of course, we said the same thing Chantal said. It's sort of like, no pressure, no this. It's just for the niceness of it. And we've had people say to us, I'd like to donate something financially to the channel, and I don't want YouTube to take a cut of it. And so that's the way they go. I can never let another person control my funds. Hubby and I have separate accounts and a joint one. Apart, it's my survival instinct. Thank you, Kalari. Thank you for the super chat. And I agree. Mark and I are in the same way. We each have our own checking account. We have a joint savings. And we have like a joint IRA, like a Roth IRA, I think. But aside from that, our money is separated. And we pay for things jointly, but it's our own. to have, just to keep covered. We have separate credit cards, all that kind of thing. So, Foodie to be a returns cashier at Walmart or Kohl's. She would never. She would never. You don't have to send money then quickly. My PayPal account is blah, blah, blah. That's the thing. She pointed to it. She made a thing about it. She did a whole community post reminding people, hey, here's another way to send me money for nothing. I'll even send you a personalized thank you. You mean you will honestly thank the person who gave you something for nothing? Aw, you angel. That's the thing. She doesn't know how bad it sounds. She can't. Otherwise, I can't imagine she would say it. I can't imagine she would say it. But people do ask, can we send money to the channel? And they do ask, do you have Cash App or do you have PayPal somewhere else you could send it? We do have PayPal, but we don't. It's not for YouTube. That's like for personal shit. So, making the special post, announcing there's a new place for money. Why would someone pay money just for the personal thank you? You know, are you putting a lot of attention into it? I don't know. All she needs is her phone and a debt collector. That's cruel. Student loan recouping for the debts is bad. Those people, those loans never go away. And they hire those call center people right out of prison, I think. Terrible. So, is she begging? Is she begging? The only reason it appears like begging is because she's made herself special by claiming she's self-made. She doesn't have to rely on anyone else for her income. She's a celebrity. Sure, Jan. She's a celebrity. Of course she is. She's not even D-list enough for, like, the shows that are on the Preview Guide channel. Or if you go in, if you have a smart TV and you find those little apps that no one's ever heard of, and they have original programming, it's kind of like that, I think. She's living in her mother's basement. Hey, it all comes full circle. You reap what you sow. And when things happen to her, and then people point out, you know, you made all these decisions that were really poor, and that's why this poor outcome happened. It's hateful to bring it up. It's not supporting. And then you're in no position to judge. You've never been 400 pounds. You've never made the same mistakes as I did. I've made a lot of the same mistakes that Chantal did. And not just because I have mental health stuff. There's parts of her personality that are just really off-putting. And I share a lot of them. Like when I get defensive and if I get angsty, I get smug. I get kind of obnoxious about it because it kind of feels like, well, who's challenging me? But it's an embarrassment that I'm trying to kind of hide with the whole thing. Chantal will go. She made $20,000 a month, never gave back to her community, and now she's begging. Yeah, she went on the thing saying millionaires could spend all this money and fix world hunger. Did you need all 20 grand that month? You could have given away half of that and still been very comfortable. But that's for other people to give away, not you. Good for thee, not for me. You know, so she's not big on dignity. So it really wasn't that big of a deal for her, I think, to put the PayPal out. I think people will use it, but I think they will. Used to be 400 pounds, but I don't share her extreme reactions. She really doesn't want anyone to relate to her. She doesn't. It makes her feel special. Terminally unique. That's come up before. She's terminally unique. She's so special, she's going to die from it. There's not a specialist enough. Unless you are inside her brain, you don't understand. That excuse gets her out of doctors, friends, lovers, family, all of it. She's totally justified in being rude and dishonest. And I mean, I can't believe well, no wonder they put her in a home. But she had her own VIBs begging her and offering her money to help her cat, and she got angry and spiteful. Exactly. It's not about the money. It's about spite on that end of things. And on her begging right now, when it's well known that financially she didn't do as great in the last month. I mean, any of us took a week off and we were regular contributors and it was our take-home money. Like, it's not funny money. You know, Mark and I have full-time gigs outside of this. Some people don't. That's fine. But all that means for this discussion is that it's part-time attention we can give to it. There's only so much we can do. Now, if we were both, you know, laid off, then I guess we would be able to stream 7 or 8 hours a day. But for the time being, we're able to make the kind of content we like with the kind of time that we have. Will that be always the case? The big dream is to have one of us, to make enough that one of us could quit our jobs. That's the YouTube goal. Not the plaque, I don't care. Just enough that we can sell our entertainment and our presence and whatever else we sell of ourselves on YouTube that you pay a penny a view for. that we'd be able to share ourselves with you in a different way than she shares herself with people. You know, she runs into the issue of privacy. Well, I want things to be private. And guess what, Chantal? You had privacy for a week because she didn't go on any of the other apps and start talking to people and pinning people. She didn't go onto her other accounts and start making noise. So somebody put the fear of God in her. Somebody put the fear of God in her. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not optimistic in her case, but so it goes. So, are we scumbags for having Cash App in our section? I don't think so. Are we begging? No. But when someone has like, hey guys, here's a new way to give me something for nothing, after they've boasted about spending more in a month than some people make in a year, that makes you look stupid. That doesn't make the rest of us look stupid. Do you know how much better people could have done with that money? And just threw it away. Easy money is money easily lost. You ever hear those lotto winners that they end up, they find them, unalived somewhere in the woods because you thought money'd make you happy and it didn't. So, I don't know. My grandfather used to say people with money don't brag because the IRS is always listening. It's very true. I do find that the people I know in my world who have the most money usually bring it up the least. They're not driving a Jag, not wearing a Rolex. They don't have a whole fridge with $300 worth of steaks in it. Like they live differently. They happen to have more money, but they're not a different person as a person. They're the same person, but with dollars. So, and they don't put it all out there that they're asking for something for themselves. Like, for all we know, Chantal makes a ton of money, and she just wants the money for herself. She wants the PayPal money, all the other places that it could come in. I respect the Muslim faith. The only Muslim thing about Chantal was the hijab to hide her hair. She's doing it to hide her hair. That's it. When the hair grows back or she finds a nice wig, it's over. And she's keeping her toe in the pond of Islam because now when she's taking pictures and trying to bewitch another guy online into her web of deceit and lies, she can use the pic with the hijab. She can even say, my ex-husband, I was married to a Muslim man, okay? I know all about it. She wasn't doing what a Muslim wife would be doing the whole time she was there. She didn't fall into the culture outside of the food and the outfits, which is the most shallow. I mean, that's like Disney World, food and outfits. Like it's a cultural experience. So many people would have made such better use of the time of her money, to see that someone with the kind of money who could really have an exciting life, just throw it away at activities that they tell you later. She'll say later, it doesn't make me happy, it didn't do this, but you spend tens of thousands of dollars on it. And if you're unhappy about that, whose fault is that? Cosplay, and it's disgusting. I'll use the word disgusting for the cosplay. I don't like it. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's appropriate. I think it's very self-centered. I think it's very ignorant. And it doesn't surprise me she would do it. Nope, doesn't surprise me. She's done worse for less, probably. If you'll have sex for a Whopper, everything else after that is kind of just whatever. A chicken and duck, you did make it. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, the hijab also covers up to here. So, the definition of cultural appropriation is exactly how I would see it, actually, Ashley. Same sort of thing. But, I mean, what can you do? Disrespectful to those in the faith, going to her channel, learn about Muslim. Yeah, what if someone thought she was serious and was interested and saw themselves in her? Maybe they were a woman who was interested in a Muslim guy. Maybe they were a person who was trying to find their faith. I think most people, when they choose a religion, aren't thinking about their dating options post-conversion, reversion, whatever it is. They're not really thinking about that too much. But she, within 2 weeks, decided not only was she Muslim, she was so Muslim, she was going to go across the pond and get married. So, I don't know. I feel like it's disrespectful. But no, I'm not religious by any standard, but I know what blasphemy looks like. I know when you look at someone and you say, they believe this, and that's fine, and then I'm going to go over and pretend to believe the same stuff, wear the same clothes, but make a jackass out of myself. That doesn't just reflect on you when you associate yourself with a bigger group. It doesn't just apply to Chantal. But what can you do? Do we think the new apartment is going to be any less dirty? I'm Jewish and she makes me sick. I'm a lapsed Catholic and I could throw up right now. I hear you. It's a good bad person thing, or it's an honest dishonest kind of thing. None of us are perfect. Everyone knows that. None of us have the sun shine out of our ass. But so, Miss Lena, thank you for coming. Have a great night. And when sisters from that group tried to correct her, she called the Muslim. Yeah, you're not allowed to. They were just bringing her up on that. They were just bringing her up on this is what would be helpful. She's never going to hang out with other women. She's too jealous and too petty to hang out with other women in any capacity. Everything's competition. Everything is spite. If some other woman other than Dee Dee was coming on to natter, Chantal would be jealous. So, I don't know. Eat vegetarian food. If she ate one, she could still eat 3,000 calories a day and lose probably like a few pounds a week. Still, it wouldn't have to be cut down too bad. I bet none of us are as imperfect. Belle, you make a point. None of us are perfect, but there's a grade of things. There is a scale of things. There's nobody perfect. I have a bad temper, and there's nobody's perfect. I sell myself for money. So it depends on which way you're coming at it with, and depends on your own faith system, I suppose. She's just, actually, Erica, you're right. She put the hijab on to try to get the first guy. I'm wearing this with deep respect for a culture I'm borrowing. See if I like it. I'll get the abaya. If it works, okay. It's not an aesthetic. It's not. So where do we go from here? Well, she said she's taking another little break. We got that today, I think. Let me look. Cutie Beauty. One day ago. Do this, do that. I have had many people ask for my PayPal info. That was in the chat. Edit. How is this begging? Most creators have a PayPal or Cash App. Begging is, please, please give me money. I need it for this and that. Didn't her and Pete's do that exactly at one point? Was it bad weather? Something happened? And all of a sudden, they might have had to go to a hotel, so, you know, Mommy Warbucks decided that she didn't have enough money for that. I remember the time she took Pete's his first paycheck she took from YouTube. You don't need a computer. Don't you think we need to pay rent first? Don't you think that's more important? So her money is her money. His money is her money. It's just she likes those kind of power dynamics in relationships. It's all power with her. Power, control, saying what I need to say to get what I need to get. And then telling anyone looking at it, gaslight them. This is not, no, it's not at all what it looks like. People are so weird. I'm not begging for money. I'm just telling you how to give it to me. That's like, I'm not begging for money. I just have my hand up. I'm not asking you. You don't have to put anything in it. I'm just leaving it there. You know. And like I said, we have Cash App too. Nobody's perfect. It's there for the same reason Chantal said. We don't give it as much attention because if somebody's, you know, eager to talk to us, then they would either find us online and talk to us. I don't think it would shake down the same way. I don't think it would shake down the same way, Shell. So, I don't know. She's going to be less and less and less Muslim. She said she found a place, but she also said in the car, give me a month. So, she said she signed the lease. It must have been prorated, and then she'd be starting again with a new one in May or so. But, first rule of the world, Chantal lies. 2 weeks from now, she could be back in Kuwait. 2 weeks from now. And I don't feel one-upped when I think she's going to do one thing and does another, because usually whatever she chooses is still a bad decision. So it's not like I watch and feel like, I know better than you do, and you're going to screw up your life. It's like, oh. Unlike Chantal, you care about learning. Exactly. Thank you for joining us, Kalari. It's always good to have another set of eyes on things. So, I don't know. Well, thank you folks for coming. We're coming up onto the hour 442. That's a nice little chat for us. I appreciate that. So thank you all for being here. Please do hit the thumbs up on your way out if you'd be so inclined. And thank you for watching. Please do subscribe also. You can hit the notification bell. We'll get alerts when we have new videos and go on live. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X. Contact info's below. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you very soon. I think Mark's going to be up on deck tomorrow night for Mondays with Mark. So thank you for being here. Thanks, everybody. New faces and old. Always a good time. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. Bye.